How I would book Ring of Honor for the rest of 2022 is the video today here on SCW. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now, leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Now, a quick disclaimer just before we start. I made a bold prediction on my predictions video for Death Before Dishonor that Tony Khan will announce that Ring of Honor will have some form of deal to do weekly programming going forward, whether that's on television, whether it's on like a streaming service like a Netflix or a Warner Media or even a YouTube, for example. I think we'll get some form of Ring of Honor on a weekly basis, and to do that we'd have to establish then what Ring of Honor's vision is going forward. And of course, for me, how I would book it, mainly this video is based around the roster, what roster I would bring in, how I present this as a television product going forward. And for me, I think the easiest answer to do this before going into detail of which wrestlers from whereabouts, I would establish this almost as the NXT to WWE. Now, before you hit that dislike button and start telling me why I'm wrong, I'm not saying that we should have like a multi-coloured unicorn kind of vision on our screens every week. We shouldn't see like some of the crazy wacky storylines we see. No, what I mean is more like a feeder system. People that are not quite ready for AEW to go there, hone their craft, get themselves more experience, kind of what we've seen with Ring of Honor over the years, because regardless of what you think of Ring of Honor, it has been a great birthing ground for some of the biggest stars we've seen in the wrestling world today. You look at the sort of start in sort of few years of Ring of Honor, the likes of Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, CM Punk, they all started there, and we've seen different variations of stars throughout the years. We look at sort of people like Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, for example. Cody Rhodes went in there and made his name after leaving WWE to come what he's become today. And we've even seen the likes of Jonathan Gresham in there as well, and we've seen Jay Lethal throughout the years, the Briscoes as well. Many of these wrestlers have gone on to perform on some of the biggest stages going. So it goes to show what can be done with Ring of Honor and its traditions, and to try and do that going forward. What I like so far with Ring of Honor, of what they've done up to this point under Tony Khan, they have kept some established names that have been linked with Ring of Honor over the years in and around. Obviously, Jonathan Gresham was someone that was one of the top faces of that brand when it stopped, so that was kind of good to keep him around. Jay Lethal, of course, has been synonymous, like I said, with Ring of Honor. We've had the likes of Samoa Joe come back, and we've seen now we've got Claudio Castagnoli, of course, former Cesaro in WWE, that's going to be on the main event of this show. I'm liking that we have that with the Briscoes there, and we've also got the experience of other people that couldn't actually fit the mold of what Ring of Honor represents, and FTR fits it so perfectly. You know, Honor, you know, is everything in the wrestling, the way that wrestling should be done and should be, this sort of technical, you know, great pure wrestling style that we see, the handshake, the code of honor, that sort of stuff. I like all that being brought in. I think Serena Deeb is a great shout as well for this division as well, for the women's division. She kind of fits the mold of what Ring of Honor represents. So I like what they've done so far, but the question is then, what is next? And like I say, if we get that together, you've got those established names. I would take people that are not your Serpenticos and people like that, but you take people that are on dark and dark elevation, people that are struggling to get TV time, perhaps maybe on a Dynamite or a Rampage, and make them a part of Ring of Honor. I'm talking about people like a Private Party, for example, a Lee Johnson, a Brock Anderson, a Willow Nightingale. You could literally build a whole division around her. Same with Kazuchika Takeshita. Now, I hope I said that correctly, but he is another one, is a prime example of the way he is being booked in AEW. All the top stars are going against him. They have to get to that next level to beat him. He's not winning matches, but he's a sort of perfect wrestler that could be a big breakout star in the future of AEW, and to make him as one of the faces of this current Ring of Honor could be a good idea. We're already seeing sort of established stars as well that are sort of on the fringes, like Lee Moriarty being used as well. They're perfect. Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, they are perfect for what this Ring of Honor represents. Young, hungry talent, looking to get that experience, looking to get experience of holding top championships, carrying a brand if you want, and then getting to that next level. It's fine that you can blur the lines and use AEW as well, some of those established stars in and amongst that as well, because experience rubs off on that young talent as well. And even some of them, like we mentioned there, Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, they're part of major factions in and amongst All Elite Wrestling, so they can be there in and around part-time, but obviously still go on Dynamite and Rampage as well. So you're trying to get people to that next level, and I think that would be really good with the young, hungry wrestlers on that roster. If you sprinkle in, like we've seen so far as well, the likes of a Dalton Castle, Josh Woods, we've seen the likes of Silas Young being used on AEW television as well, and also in amongst this Ring of Honor setup. I think people like that would be really good to have as well, because people from Ring of Honor before don't see it as a wholesale change. They see faces they know. I mentioned with some of the top legends as as well. That really helps it out as well. So, you know, you've even got people like Danhausen that can come in as well at this particular time, show his face, stuff like that. So that's really good as well. And once you put all those ingredients together, I think you get a whole roster for Ring of Honor of what it represents, an identity as well. And then you can put that out there to the world. You've got some established names that people may have recognized, people that are up and comers, and you've got people that were there from that promotion before. Maybe not immediately, but I also think that you could do perhaps a Forbidden Door stuff with Ring of Honor as well, potentially as an invasion angle with AEW if they wanted to play that at some point. That could always be fun. You own both companies, you can make both seem pretty strong, so that could be an idea you could go with. Or you could have perhaps maybe a relationship with someone like an Impact Wrestling. I think that could work as well, mainly because of the fact we've seen the Briscoes, who are currently doing their work now with Impact Wrestling, coming over now. They did the Supercard of Honor show, obviously. They're now doing this Death Before Dishonor show, so for them to come over as well. And what about a group like Honor No More? Obviously, they were formerly a part of Ring of Honor. I think to have them come over in sort of an invasion style angle as well, I think would be really, really fun. The fact that they're not really seen as Impact guys as well doesn't harm the Impact brand when eventually Honor No More doesn't succeed. It helps also give that identity to what people are seeing as well. Well, this is what it was before. Honor No More doesn't stick to that. They break the rules. They go different to what Ring of Honor represents. And then you come out the other side. Once they lose, they go back off to Impact Wrestling. They're not seen really as Impact people anyway, because they're kind of invaded to get there to begin with, and are still trying to terrorize the Impact roster to this day. So that way, it doesn't harm any brand, and Ring of Honor can continue on then doing what it does best and getting people ready for that next level. So that's sort of what I would do if I was to put it together, how I would book Ring of Honor as a company going forward. I'd be interested in what people think in the comments below. Is this something you would quite like to see, some of these ideas? If not, what would you do differently? Would you just go with completely unknown wrestlers? Would you just bring all the Ring of Honor wrestlers of old back in? What would you do? Try to establish this show going forward. It'd be very interesting to know people's thoughts and philosophies on this topic. But that's all for me anyway. In the meantime, you're watching SCW here on YouTube. Take care, have yourselves a great day, and if you haven't seen my Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor predictions, it's available for you on screen right now, so make sure to go and check it out for this Saturday. But that's all for me. Take care. I'll see you next time.